Hi there folks, this is Dan Beldish, and in today's video we're going to look at a project for web and we're going to do some customization to it. It's actually a multi-step process. First we're going to create some custom entities here. We're going to look at the project entity and we're going to create some fields within there. After we create those fields, we're going to go ahead and modify the information form of the project entity to add those fields to them. And then finally, we're going to create a business process, which will go ahead and allow the project requests to flow throughout a certain methodology through the point where it's initiated, then it's planned, then it goes to execution, and then finally close. So let's get started. You can see I'm on a blank screen, so we'll go ahead and navigate to make.powerapps.com, and that will take us to our Power Apps homepage. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and navigate to data. You can see data is here. Within data, we want to navigate to entities because that's where we're going to go ahead and make our changes here. And by default, when I come here, you can see the selection here in the top right, see it's default, and it's only showing a certain subset. It's showing the standard items here. I need the project entity. What I need to do is go to the managed items here. You can either go to manage or all. They'll both display the project entity, and then when I do that, my project entity will be right there. So if I click on that, it'll open up the project entity. You can see entities and then greater than sign project. Now all these items within here relate to the project entity. So anything I make a modification to will be a modification to project. So within here, the first thing I want to do is create a field, and go ahead and click on add field, and then we type a name in here. Estimated cost will be the first one. And then I want to select the data type, and this is going to be a currency data type. You can see it here. We'll select that. And I'm not going to change the other fields. I'm not going to make them required at this time. We're just going to keep things simple. I'll click done. That's my first field, and I want to go ahead and enter another field. The next one's going to be a business need. And this field is actually going to be a multi-line text field. Therefore, I'm going to change the data type from text to, and multi-line text is down at the bottom here. We'll go ahead and save that and click done. Now you don't have to click save entity after doing this each time. It's just a matter of choice if you want to. I can go ahead and do that here, and it just refreshes the screen and allows me to go ahead and add another one here. The next thing I'm going to do is add, let's see if add project description. There, we want that to be multi-line text as well, so we'll select multi-line text down at the bottom. Click done, and again I'm going to just go ahead and click save entity for myself here. Another field I'm going to enter here is actual cost, because you noticed I had estimated. Well, I'm going to want to have my actual as well. Again, that's going to be currency, right? From the data type, select done. And we'll select this, and now we're going to get to a couple others here. I have a program field I'm going to want to enter in here. We'll click add entity, call that program. Now this is going to be an option set. Therefore, when I select data type, I'm going to look for option set down the bottom, right? And then it brings up another item here, drop down list box called option set. And what I want to do is click here and say new option set from there. And we'll start entering items here. So I'm gonna, we have asset management as a program. We're gonna have corp website. We're gonna have CRM as a program. We'll have highway improvement. And we'll just do one more here, inventory. And that's it for program. And again, I'm gonna click done here. We'll save that. And then I have another field I'm gonna want to create, and we'll just call this department, like so. Back up, fix that. Again, that's gonna be an option set. We'll go ahead and select that, and then we'll say new option set again. And then what are some of the options here? There's going to be finance, and I can just press enter each time. IT, right, and operations, sales, and marketing, and then of course HR. Select save. We're not going to have a default value here. I just click done, save my entity, and I just have a couple more fields here. These fields are actually for a project closeout. When we close out the project, we're going to want to be able to create a report and enter some closeout information. It's basically for lessons learned type info as well. The type is going to be multi-line text. It's down toward the bottom of the list here. Project closeout's one field. Save that, and then the last field I'm going to create is called write final report. That's going to be multi-line text as well. Data type, multi-line text down the bottom there. Click done, and then we'll select save entity. Okay, that takes care of the fields. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and create a form here, or actually not create a form, but we're going to manipulate the existing form. I select forms, and then there's the existing information form. We'll go ahead and click on that to open it up for editing, and the screen will refresh, and then you'll see the existing form come into view, and this will allow us to go ahead and make changes to it at this point. It has three sections: general, estimates, and actuals. Right, what I want to do is I want to actually add some fields into this general section here first. And notice there's a checkbox here, show only unused fields. If you have that selected, then it's by default going to show you just the fields that you don't currently have on these forms, which will help filter some of the fields out that you have created here. Right, so some of the things I entered in here is I have business need and project description. Right, so if I look here, I can find business need right there. Okay, and then the other one was my, let's go ahead and find this. We have description. Okay, so now we have that. We want program and department as well. Let's bring those two out here. And the department's going to be right here. Click, drag, bring it out. And I'll just reposition these once I get them up there. Okay, there we go. So we have those positioned correctly. And what I would like to do is we're going to put estimated cost on the estimates section over here. So go ahead and drag that out. There's estimated cost. And then you notice we have the actual section way over there. We're going to go ahead and put the actuals cost, click and drag that over there. And that will put our actual cost underneath effort hours completed. And I can also change the name of this summary tab. Maybe I want to call that something different. Call that business case. Right. And let's go ahead and rename it in both spots. And notice the name took right here. Therefore, we have business case and we have tasks. Tasks we'll be able to see the name of the tasks in the project. So the other thing I want to do here is I want to add another tab here to put the closeout fields on, right? So what I need to do is I need to actually show the different components here rather than the fields, right? So I'll click on this components item. And do I want a one column tab or a two? I'm just going to add a two. I'm not really concerned here at the moment for the formatting and so forth. Just really want to go ahead and display what's going to happen here and how you add a new tab. I'm going to click on new tab here, give it focus, and we'll call this project closeout. Copy that. We'll put it in the name of the tab there. I do save often, save frequent. Okay, so we have that saved now. And now let's go back to the different fields. We'll click on the fields drop down here. And what I could actually do is I deselect this and I can repeat some of the fields on here if I really wanted to. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep this simple. And we're going to display those fields that we created before. If you recall, we created a field called project closeout. Click and drag that out there. And then we created another field called write final report. Okay, so there are those two fields. We're going to change new section to be called closeout here. right? And I'm just going to put that there. Okay, so again, if I wanted to, I could display extra fields in this section here and give it a different name. I'm not going to at this very moment in time. We're going to click Save. All right, and we'll click Publish. What we're going to do is we're going to do an interim test here, just to make sure that everything's going as planned so far, and that the forms are displaying the fields, and we can go ahead and save a project successfully at this point in time. The Publish finished. Let's go ahead back here. And I can go to the different apps, and the apps are going to be where the project and the resource scheduling apps are at this point. And I'll just click on Project. Opens in a new tab. And there's my project for the web interface using the Dynamics tools here. What I want to do is create a new project. Whenever you add certain fields, depending on the fields that you add, sometimes I've noticed this personally, especially with the currency fields. If I tried to update an existing project with a currency field, I do get a specific error. However, if I go to add a new project and put currency fields there, it works just fine. Okay, so let's call this test 500. What's the business need? Write text here, right? And I could do the same thing for the description. What's the program? So remember that we entered in those option sets. There they are. Megan's the project manager, the currency. The start date, the finish date, these items here will come from when you build the project in the other interface, project for the web. So if I clicked on tasks, I can start entering tasks. What's the estimated cost? Right, so I can put that in. There's no actual cost yet because we haven't begun executing, and I'll click save, and hopefully this will save successfully. All right, that looks good. There's my tasks tab, and there's the project closeout tab, and there's the write final report and the project closeout. There you go. So far so good. Now the other thing that I want to do is I want to add the business process, right? How do we do that? Well, so what I could do is I could create a new app to do that and create my model-driven app and put all the changes in there. I'm just going to go ahead and take the easy way out right now and just edit the default app here. And I can click on the ellipsis here, click on Edit from the drop-down, and that will bring me into the app designer. And what I want to do is I want to create a business process. Notice I can click on this, and I will put focus in there. And what I want to do is I want to select Create New to create a new business process here. And that will bring up dialog box, and once it refreshes, I'll be able to enter some preliminary information in here, and to begin the work of creating that business process that will be reflected when I open the project or create a new project and show the methodology that this project request rather would flow throughout its life cycle, right? So there's our business process, and we'll call this our project phases. Business process flow. What part of what entity is it representing? Well, it's actually entering project. We'll select that. Leave all the other settings alone. Click OK. And another window will launch. And this will be the canvas for us to actually come in here and start creating the business process flow. There's the first stage. It puts one up here for us automatically. I'm going to call this initiation. It's representing the project entity here. So we'll call that initiation. You do have to click apply here. If I don't click apply here and I go click somewhere else, this change is going to be lost. So don't forget to click apply. You notice that the stage will change here and be called initiation. If I click on details here, it has one data step. What do I want to occur here? Well, there are certain things that I want to occur. There's certain data that I'm going to want entered in here. Right, so this is really the enforcement of the entry of data before we can actually move out of certain steps, right? So the entry of data that I'm going to want is, one's going to be the business need. That's something I'm going to want to take place here. Okay, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to want to have another data step here, and I can click again, data step 2. And what's the next thing I'm going to want here? Well, I do want a project description. Select project description. Notice I'm selecting the data field first because when I do that, the step name is automatically filled in for me, right? So it can be kind of helpful. So I'm going to have the 2 data steps at this point in time, right? So we'll go ahead and make sure we save this info. Now what I want to do is I want to actually create another stage, okay? So we'll click stage, and there's our new stage. Go over to display name, and this is going to be planning. Click apply. Remember, click apply, so pre-fills, puts the name over there. So what I want here is we're going to go ahead and put the estimated cost. I'm going to remember to click apply now. We want another data step. Go ahead and have another data step here. I want my program entered, and we will click apply, estimated cost program. I want another data step, and in this case I want department. Click apply, estimated cost program department. Those are the 3 data steps I want here. Now I want another stage, and this thing tends to get a little hokey right there, that add button. So if it does the same thing to you, don't feel bad. It's not just you, it's mine as well. 03 is execution. We'll click apply. There's 3 execution. Okay, what are we going to enter throughout execution, right? So we'll be entering one field here. Actual cost is something we'll enter at various times throughout the project. There's actual cost, right? And we'll put another stage here. And last but not least, this is 04. Let's see if we can get that. And 04 is going to be close, and we'll click apply. There's close. Click on details here. And if you recall, I put those 2 fields in there, project closeout and write final report. Let's find project closeout. There's that. Click apply. Now you can see project closeout. We want to add a data step and click on the plus sign under closeout. And I want write final report. That's at the very end. Click apply. So there are the 2 data steps there, project closeout, write final report. Let's go ahead and check these just to make sure. Actual cost, details here, estimated cost, program department, and look here, business need, project description. They all look good. I'm going to click save. I can click validate here just to make sure, and if you note in the top left, validation is successful. And then I want to activate this. We'll go ahead and click activate. And I get a dialog box, process activate confirmation. Do I want to activate this business process? And I do. And when it's done, our business process will be activated. All right, so now we're back. The screen refresh. Let's close out of that window. We saved and activated it. So while we're in here, I'm going to go ahead and select publish just to make sure things are good to go. Then we'll do a save and close. Now let's go ahead and launch the project app again. And there we are at the main active project screen. Let's select new project. And there is our project phases at the top, right? Project phases, initiation, planning, execution, closeout, right? So let's go ahead and create project 600. Text here, okay? So if you recall, right? So what fields did we need to enter in? And I'm going to go ahead and save this to actually move past initiation. Let's click on this here, business need and project description. And you can see by the checkboxes, both these requirements have been satisfied. I can go ahead and select next stage, which will move this project to planning. Now, what do I need to do to exit out of planning and go to execution? Well, I need to enter the estimated cost, program, and department. All right, so let's satisfy those. Program, yes, we'll just go ahead and select some fields here. Asset management, finance, what's the estimated cost? Okay, we have those values. Let's go ahead and look at this now. Now you can see the green check marks to note that we've satisfied those. Let's go to next stage. Now currently we're in execution. And now as we're executing the project, we would enter in the actual costs. This could be a one-time thing. This could be a process over time. As this tool gets matured, eventually we'll see costs be aggregated over time based on resource rates and so forth. But let's go ahead and just enter some costs here, and I'll select off here, and then you can see we do have actual costs. Obviously, you're going to want to have a more mature type of methodology here and incorporate that into your process flow. Next stage will bring me to closeout, In order to actually finally close this project completely, I need to enter some information for project closeout and write that final report. Where do I do that? Well, remember we have that project closeout tab. Right, so here's my final report, and here's the closeout. Okay, both those in there. I can look here, satisfied. I can now select the finish button, and you can see now this project has been completely finished. There it is, folks. So again, project for the web. You've seen we added the field entities. We went ahead and modified the project information form entity as well. We added a tab to it, put a couple fields in there. Then we built an entire process flow in here and demonstrated how the entire process flow worked from soup to nuts. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.